What's something your husband did to you that you won't ever forgive? I've been friends with my husband since we were both 12 years old. I was in love with him much longer than he was with me. The thing I have always loved about him was his big heart. He sees things differently than I do. For example, a friend of ours recently lost their job. I immediately mentioned that I would look into finding a job for her. My husband immediately thought that she must be sad and that we should reach out to her to see how she's doing. That's the type of guy he is. A few years ago, he began to drink heavily. During this time I saw the worst of him. The things he did and the things he said were awful. I started questioning if the alcohol was bringing out his true self. Had he been wanting to call me those names for years? Had he been stifling down those thoughts that are now being said out loud because of him being intoxicated? One Sunday afternoon, my husband walked in the door after a weekend away with his friends. He looked horrible and smelled even worse. Because I was busy taking care of our children, there were several things I needed to get done before Monday, school and work related. My husband, on the other hand, was insisting on laying down. We started to argue. Suddenly, my husband expanded his chest, stood up as tall as he could and came towards me with his right arm bent and behind him, fist closed tightly. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. My husband, the man I've loved most of my life, was about to hit me, wants to hurt me. My immediate response was to cower. He lowered his hand, but continued to yell at me. Eventually, he sat on the couch and angrily watched TV until he passed out. We didn't speak for the 3 days to follow. I was busy preparing for my exit. Eventually, he promised to quit drinking. At the time of this post, my husband has been sober for 14 months. We spoke about a few incidents that occurred while he was drunk, including this one specifically. He has little recollection, blaming the alcohol on his lack of recall. I described that day to him, in great detail, to get a sense of remorse, at a minimum, an apology. I got neither. I will never look at my husband the same way. Where I used to watch him sleep and think about how much I loved him, I now watch him sleeping and wonder what could possibly set him off again.